Welcome back with another banger. It's the React Files. Hope you're having a good night. If you haven't already, please take a second
just to smash that like, subscribe, ring that notification bell,
just to make sure the algorithm knows what's up. So let's get straight to it.
For the first time in over 24 years, Putin is visiting North Korea, and for Kim Jong-un, this is massive. He has rolled out the red carpet by hanging up pictures of Putin's face everywhere and even lining the streets in Russian flags for his arrival. For perspective, the last time that Putin actually visited North Korea was in 2000 when Kim Jong-un's father was the leader of the country. So you might be wondering, why now? Well, to put it very simply, Russia needs weapons and ammunition, and North Korea needs money. To put it less simply, Putin is promising to build trade and security systems with North Korea that are not controlled by the West and jointly oppose the sanctions that have been placed on the two countries. And as for what the US thinks about this deepening relationship, well, they described it as concerning and that they will be watching it very, very closely.
So is it just me, or is it extremely weird and coincidental that right after Putin met with Kim Jong today, a few hours later, we all of a sudden have alleged reports that now we have warships, Russian warships, outside of Miami. Now again, this is an update. This is not a few days ago when there was the warships, the cue ball. This is today, the 19th. It seems like at this point, Putin is literally just poking at us. I wonder why that could be. Really makes you think, right? And I'm not even joking. You remember in 2020 when these monoliths were popping up everywhere? What in the Invader Zim alien bullcrap is going on? Because it's happening again. And this one's 10 foot. Someone would have had to lug this thing out there and then dig it in the ground with some kind of foundation where it could stand up straight. Who knows how much is underground? Like, who put this there? Who's even capable of making this, bringing it out, and like constructing it right here? Seems to me that we have something non-human also going in line with crop circles and all the other stuff. Y'all, this world is not what you think it is. We'll talk about that tomorrow.
Shout out to Inspired by the King. He's definitely onto something with that new registration bill and the warships being docked out by Cuba. I'm wondering if there's a connection.
Russia and North Korea have been linked by strong friendship and close neighborly relations for many decades. We highly appreciate your consistent and unchanging support of the Russian policies, including in the Ukrainian direction, meaning our fight against the imperialist hegemonistic policies of the US and its satellites against the Russian Federation.
The relationship between our two countries is at the highest point, even incomparable to relations between the DPRK and Soviet Union, and I think the Comrade President's visit to Pyongyang will provide an opportunity to solidify the foundation of the fiery friendship between our people.
Yeah, we cooked. We are cooked. These two just formed a tag team. All this and GTA 6 ain't even here yet.
This is everything that happened on the news today, but it's going to be simplified in 60 seconds. Police are now sharing photos of this new mysterious monolith in the Las Vegas desert. Basically, this new one just popped up out of nowhere, but do you guys remember back in 2020 whenever these were everywhere, and did we ever find out what that was? A new study is now showing that one lazy day per week can actually reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and make you live longer. So that's crazy. So this is currently going viral. A cartel controls your credit card. Basically, they're saying that Capital One and Discover want to merge into the largest credit card company in the US, which is crazy. And then they're saying that swipe fees and interest rates will rise even higher and banks will make billions. The Credit Card Competition Act would stop this. For anybody that hasn't heard about this yet, the Strawberry Full Moon is happening on Friday, June the 21st, and we're going to be live streaming this entire event on TikTok, so if you want to join, make sure you register. All you have to do is go on my profile and click the live event. Then after that, all you got to do is click to register and then you'll be there. I give you these news roundups every day, so make sure you add me and come back to me tomorrow.
A strawberry full moon. Never heard of it. I'm sure that's going to be incredible to watch. Shout outs to Nick Jackson. Follow him. Check out the live stream. Another one of them things done popped up in Vegas. I'm just wondering who's putting them there.
This is a aggressive talk, dude. Oh my god.
Close call. Luckily they stayed calm. I think those were bull sharks. Them things attack anything. What's crazy is the man just holding his child pointing at it. You seen the movie. You see that fin? It's time to boogie. I don't care if you understand.
Reality glitches caught on camera.
So I just pull back my bed and I'm thinking, oh shit, like I broke a nail, right? Because it's right here. So I'm like, okay, I'm checking. Bitch, where's the broken nail? Did something just glitch?
No. My fear's happening. Not being able to get to my car in a parking garage. There's my car. Yep, okay. If I go down that way, that brings me down. So, I'm walking up. But when I get on the corner, nothing. So now I'm coming back down. I'm so confused. I know I'm on level 3, but like, why can't I get right there? I'm gonna have to freaking hop the barrier. So another person talked about results, and this was the same thing, and it was like an obstacle course. Why? I don't understand. Help me. See, now I just walked from up there. That's going back down. That's not where I need to be. Do I jump the ledge?
Absolutely gotta jump the ledge. Yeah, that's a true fear right there. Not being able to find your car in a parking deck? Like, dude, where's my car?
Check this out, you guys. Earthquakes are starting to happen around the world, specifically around this Leviathan over here. And I showed you guys before through numbers that this is literally the snake or the Godzilla. As you can see over here, Dragon, South Pole, Leviathan, Godzilla gives you 5 all across the board. Once you add these numbers together, you get all 5s all across the board. There's no coincidence, I told you guys. Numbers do not lie. Now check this video out, y'all.
What does an alligator do whenever they freeze in the water? That's right. They stick their nose out of the water to make sure that they can still breathe in the frozen water. As you can see, people, this is what reptiles do whenever it's frozen. And as you can see right here at the bottom of Argentina and the top of Antarctica, we have what appears to be a large serpent right there. Can you see it, people? Right there. You probably think this is crazy, but I'm going to prove to you that thing is a fire-breathing dragon and still alive. As you can see right here, as we zoom in, you can see what appears to be nose holes. These same holes you can find on reptiles like snakes. Now, they look like islands, all right, of some sort, until I continue to zoom in and zoom in, right? Keep up with me, people. I have to show you. This is crazy. This is smoke, people. What we are seeing that is white is smoke, people.
Puff the Magic Dragon.
Believe it. I'm going to show it to you. We're going to keep on going. And I want you to also look. These are crater holes. These holes are going down. All right. This is this thing's nose, and he has it out of the water. Still breathing, people. All right. Watch me. Look.
Now watch.
Y'all remember that dragon we found at the bottom of South America? Look, there is a 5.4 earthquake that just happened on the head of that serpent. You guys, this dragon is waking up, and I'm about to prove to you that this dragon is waking up. Not only is it waking up, this dragon is the size of multiple continents. Now, let's talk about it. A lot of you might think I'm crazy, but the fact of all of the earthquakes and the volcanic eruptions around the Ring of Fire. If you don't know what the Ring of Fire is, I'm going to show you, but please Google. Everywhere there's a red dot, that is the ring, and it runs all the way through Asia, east towards North America, down the west coast, and down the west coast of South America. Now, at the very bottom of South America is where I showed you that this is where the serpent, Drake's Passage, or Dragon's Passage, is located, right there. This would be equivalent to right down here, okay? Now, I'm going to follow that same path from South America all the way around to Fiji. And watch this. And if you look right here, you can see this is where the Ring of Fire starts, right at the neck of this thing, all right? And it comes up here, and I told you guys, these are wings. Look at that. South America is a wing. But if you follow this line, this bloodline right here, I believe is a vein, a major vein. That is, if you see it goes around there, it's following the same line over here as the Ring of Fire. All right? Now watch it. It's going to continue to go. Goes all the way around. All right? You can still see that line. You can watch it go up here. It goes up North America. All right? That same line is right there. It's going to come around. And this is where that, you can see North America only has little spots. That line is not that dark there. The darker the line. So this is San Andreas Fault also running along there. And you can see where it starts to darken again. All right? Where it starts to darken in that loop. You see that? Those are going to be more active places. Can you see over here in that loop? Things are more active right there. All right. We'll come back over here. Continue to follow. This is still the wing, people. This is the wing. It takes that much. This is all of it. This is the wing, the left wing of this serpent, you all. This is the left wing right there. All right. And the right wing right here is Antarctica. We know this place is not a ball, but it runs from Antarctica and it comes here. This wraps the world. Whenever you guys see, look, here it is. It comes all the way out here. It's the same. You're not going to see these that active because they have this thing frozen in hibernation, people. This wing is froze so that this reptile cannot move. Right now we have global warming and all of this is starting to melt. All right. Everything on this side has already melted and this thing is eventually going to wake up, people.
Interestingly enough, this thing is frozen in the Pacific Ocean, and this is probably why it's pacified. It's pacified. And is waiting for that actual ring of fire that is actually being brought on by the sun. That's why the sun looks like it's got rings on it, multiple rings, which would be the ring of fire, which is why everything is melting in Antarctica right now. So there's not going to be no more pacifying that dragon. That dragon is waking up, which is also why they put this dragon on top of the Empire State Building telling us Vaghar is here. They're literally telling us the dragon, the Leviathan, Godzilla, the snake is waking up. These are some interesting times we live in, y'all. We have been lied to about everything. Everything? Everything. And now we're really about to see what's up with this world, y'all. Let me know what you guys think about this video. This video is strictly for entertainment purposes only. I am only raising awareness to interesting situations during these interesting times. Like, comment, and share for more videos like this, y'all. Thank you for tuning to my frequency. We're in this shift. Let's get it. Peace in.
That's amazing right there. Makes you wonder, what if? Hopefully Antarctica could stay ice long enough. But that thing don't have to wake up if it's there.
Reality Witch.
Dayar se le infeca bacodo sin Texas.
Yeah, the one with the propane tank got me. It was separated and was still working. Yeah, that's creepy. You gotta get that joint out the house ASAP.
This is just my opinion, but this tropical storm headed for Texas is a little bit strange. I was listening to a storm tracker that I trust, who's been tracking storms for well over a decade, and he was saying this is the biggest storm mass he's ever seen in the Gulf of Mexico. Then I see this. This person seems to agree. I'm looking at the local radar, and look at the size of this thing as it forms and starts to head westward. Now, what this guy I listened to was saying that was odd to me was that they predicted this when there was nothing days ago. There was nothing showing at all days ago, and there was a prediction that this would happen. I'm not saying that these things are created. I'm not saying that it's weird. It's weird. It's just my opinion that these storms that are growing are stranger and stranger and bigger. The intensity is larger and larger. It just seems odd.
I agree. It's both weird and odd. Shout outs to Casey Lee Barker. I know that last storm Texas got was a beast. Hopefully it doesn't happen. Shout outs to Texas.
What? No, I am a real person. Maybe we have a bad connection. I'm sorry about that.
Will you tell me you're not a robot? Just say I'm not a robot, please.
I am a real person.
Just ring your doorbell, because I have a couple questions for you. Are you sure? Are you positive? Are you sure? I just have a couple questions for you.
Man in black on camera.
This is going viral on Twitter right now. A new horror movie is promoting their movie by having you call this number. This person said it was terrifying. Let's call the number. 458-66. Jesus Christ. Then 4355. Well, I'm actually scared right now, bro.
There she is. What's your name? Little angel?
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Who is this? Hello?
I'll be waiting.
Yo. What? No, don't call it again. Bro, I actually just had chills. That was creepy, bro. What was that?
That was creepy. I wonder if it was just a pre-recording, because it hung up on its own. Still, I would not have called that number. No way.
Yo, so I'm in Arizona, just driving through, and tell me when the fuck they started making clouds. What the fuck? You know, I've been through here like 20 times, I've never seen this shit.
I would say that she was trying to blur out those faces in the audience, but they wasn't even blurred. Some faces look like they had the demon syndrome, if you ask me.
So this couple wakes up one day and they find $120,000 in their bank account.
that they didn't put there. So, what are they gonna do with it? So the couple, his name's Robert and her name's Tiffany. And Robert and Tiffany, they're normal working class people, but one day they wake up and they're probably having their morning coffee and their Fruit Loops or whatever when one of them checks their bank account. Now normally their account will have around $1,000 in it on average. Oh, but not on this day. On this day they have an extra $120,000 and neither of them put it there. So Robert and Tiffany see this and they're like, what the f***? And I'm sure they're like refreshing the app to see if this is an error, but this 6-figure number doesn't go away. So Robert and Tiffany look at each other and they're like, what do? We call the bank? Do we call the police? I mean, whose fault is this? I mean, they didn't steal the money, it just appeared there. Now, they could go report this, I guess, but that's not what Robert and Tiffany do. Instead, they decide they're gonna spend it. So Robert and Tiffany, they get started right away. Start off kind of small. They're paying off some bills they owe money on, trying to relieve some of that debt that's been building up, and the transactions work. Like there's no issues, there's no errors, the money spends just like any other money would spend. So now their bills are paid, and that's great and all, but they still have a ton of money left. And that can only mean one thing. It's time to go shopping. Rich people shit. Billionaire shit. So they go out and buy a couple of 4-wheelers, a new camper, a new SUV, a whole ass race car, cause I guess they're really into racing, all kinds of stuff. And then, because Robert and Tiffany are generous people, they give away about $15,000 of the money to some of their friends who need it. So they're doing a lot with this money. Like, it's been really good for them. And after about 2.5 weeks, they've spent nearly all of the $120,000. And they still don't know how it got in their account. I guess it's just free money. Until one day, someone working at an investment firm, they reach out to the bank like, hey, a couple weeks ago, we deposited 120 grand into our account and it's not showing up here. Any idea where that money could be? And so the bank is like, all right, we'll look into it. And they start investigating and tracing where all this money went. And sure enough, they find that a bank teller had made an error and mistakenly routed the money to Robert and Tiffany's bank account. So they look into that account and they see that of the $120,000, Robert and Tiffany had already spent $107,000 of it. So the bank immediately does what banks do. They correct the error by taking back the $120,000 from Robert and Tiffany's account and they credit it to the investment firm, which leaves Robert and Tiffany's account overdrawn by $107,416. The bank then calls up Tiffany and they let her know her account's overdrawn and that she and Robert need to pay back the $107,000. And to her credit, Tiffany admits that she and her husband had spent all that money. And she says she needs to go and speak to her husband to figure out some kind of repayment plan. But then Tiffany just completely ghosts the bank. They call her back, but she doesn't answer. She doesn't return any of their calls. She's basically like, you. No, instead, Robert and Tiffany just kind of fall off the radar. I guess they hope this problem will just go away on its own. Which is funny to me, but unfortunately for them, the bank doesn't find it very funny. And after a while of not being able to get a hold of them, the bank calls the police. So then police track Robert and Tiffany down and they arrest them. Now, I couldn't find their mugshots, but here's what they look like in real life. And they're charged with multiple felonies like theft and receiving stolen property, and they face up to 10 years in prison for this. But they both take a plea deal and they both get 7 years probation and they have to pay the money back. If it were me, I would have spent that shit too. And all this happened in Pennsylvania, so shout out to Pennsylvania.
Shout outs to Pennsylvania. Hey, I would have spent it too. Hey, at least they only got probation. It could have been a lot worse. I'm sure they learned their lesson.
This is the greatest photograph ever taken, and you won't believe why. This photo was taken back in 1990 by Voyager 1 on its final mission. From an incredible distance of 7 billion kilometers, Voyager 1 turned its cameras towards Earth and captured this photo. This has of course become one of, if not the most iconic photo of Earth ever. No, it's not a close-up, crazy photo of Earth, but that's what makes it crazier. It's just a tiny blue dot right in the distance of the vastness of space. And when you think about it, just this tiny dot floating around from that perspective has everything. Every human that's ever lived, every person that's ever died, the wars that we drag ourselves into and are fighting. But it really makes you see just how insignificant it all really is. And yet you worry about the smallest things. This really just shows how small and insignificant Earth is, let alone us. And we are really just a grain of sand in this huge pit. So next time you are overthinking and worrying about something, just look back at this video and this image and just think, is it worth it?
Shout outs to It's Matt W01. I questioned the picture from 1990 But I do agree with him that what we argue with every day mostly is pointless in the grand scheme of things. I understand his analogy. I definitely understand where he's coming from. I don't think that's Earth. It looks more like a moon in the sky or something. I don't know.
Whether you love him or hate him, stick around. You're going to want to watch his videos. You know I like to draw some comparisons and speculate that certain people might be other people. And this one's no different. And you might not even know who Jen Psaki is, but let me tell you, she served as a political advisor for both the Obama and the Biden administration. And do you notice any sort of resemblance? Now, you might not see it at first, and I'm not saying they're the same person. I'm just showing you and letting you make up your mind based on the evidence. But I do have a theory on what is going on here. A theory that some of you probably aren't ready for. But he's going to tell you right in plain sight, potentially what's happening. Now just listen.
Be having this conversation in the future, and one of us could just be a hologram sitting here and having a normal kind of full interaction, feeling like we're physically there with each other, and be having this conversation in the future, and one of us could just be a hologram sitting here and having a normal kind of full interaction, feeling like we're physically there with each other. And I think that's
now, whether you realize it or not, the powers that be have technology that we can't even comprehend. And it's not dozens of years advanced or even hundreds. In my opinion, it's thousands because it's fallen angel technology. And I want to just give you a little glimpse of what I'm talking about based on his video. Now, I like to do a thorough job with these, so I look for anomalies. And Psaki, she's got a little dot on her hand, so I was investigating for his dot. But instead, what I found is some very strange shadowing and lighting with moving with his hand. Kind of like the hand he's showing is a projection or a hologram. Like I said, I'm not making any claims here. I'm just showing you some evidence and you decide. Same person in the costume, holograms, clones, up to you. And I do want to give credit where credit is due. My good friend Josh Stone here on TikTok first came up with this theory, and man, go follow him. He is brilliant with this type of stuff. And if you like what I do, you'll love what he does. But just to make sure, you guys know I'm just joking about all this, right? I just do this to entertain you, to pass the time through our normally dull lives. All satire and for entertainment purposes, of course. I know they're two completely different people.
I agree. They're definitely two different people. Although, I still see where he's coming from with the holograms.
The time I got spiritually attacked and had a spiritual parasite in me. By the way, this just happened 2 days ago. So if you are a light worker, or you have a lot of Christ consciousness, the golden light within you, you are susceptible to a lot of evil eye, envy, jealousy, hatred. Entities and people alike will try to knock you down before you can even get up to do your soul's mission here. So I found out that 4 years ago, I was spiritually attacked by multiple people, and this was before I was spiritually awakened. I had no idea what was going on. And it was just only 2 days ago that I had this entity removed. So I went to a Hindu priest about 2 weeks ago to try to figure out why I was always drained. For 4 years straight, I was always drained, tired, felt like there was weight on my shoulders, mind cloudiness. And so this Hindu priest, which by the way, Hinduism is the oldest religion on planet Earth, and there's a reason why, because they know exactly what they're doing. They are incredibly spiritually attuned. But while he was doing a prayer meditation, he saw the shadow figure constantly trying to interrupt him from healing me. And it was the shadow figure that kept going back and forth, trying to distract him. He had never encountered this kind of stuff in his entire career. So he had to call up his master, the priest had to call up his master, and call this master over to finally heal me. There was this ritual that we had to do, and I'm not going to get into the details, but towards the end of the ritual, I was told to drink some water, gargle it, and spit it out into that clear jar. And when I spit the water out, there was a black speck about the size of a lentil that came out of me, and once it landed in the clear jar, it lit on fire. Mind you, there was nothing in the jar. I hand cleaned the jar myself. There was no water, no alcohol, nothing. It was 100% clean. That thing that came out of me should not have lit on fire, but it did. So the priest and the master quickly, closed the jar. And he looked like he was almost struggling, like the thing was trying to get out, like it was forcing him to go the other way. And because I was looking at it from an aerial point of view, I really couldn't see what was going on. I was stunned, of course. But But my boyfriend who was there with me, he saw it from a side point of view, and it freaked him out. Look, this man is I have to see it to believe it type of man. So he was stunned to see that little black speck grow little legs and try to run back towards me in the jar while it was on fire. And my boyfriend said he also heard a screeching noise, like it was angry or something, that it couldn't feed off of my energy anymore. Anyway, the priest, the master, he sealed that jar shut, and the priest and the master kept praying mantras over the jar, basically saying, you cannot get out, you are not allowed to get out. And they threw that jar in the ocean, and I hope nobody finds that jar and nobody opens it. But anyway, I was psychically and spiritually attacked, according to the master, because I have a golden Christ consciousness light, which is also why I do what I do on TikTok and other social media platforms. And because of that, there were multiple eyes on me wanting me to fail. He still cannot sense who exactly sent it, but he says there's more than one culprit. These astral and spiritual parasites, they attach to you because they feed off of your energy, especially if you have golden Christ consciousness energy. You are delicious to them. You are like the best meal they've ever had. And to let go of you means they die. These entities can attach to you through evil eye, through people sending you black magic, voodoo, hoodoo, witchcraft. It can also be through the people that you make sexual connections with. So romantic partners, one-night stands. This is why you should be very, very careful with who you sleep with. I was spiritually attacked even before I was spiritually awakened, so I wish I knew what was going on back then. But I'm glad I got rid of it now. But the moral of the story is, ignorance is bliss, sure. But if you are ignorant to the spiritual world and you get yourself into these kind of situations, ignorance can kill you or harm you. These astral parasites love your sacral chakra because that is where your sexual energy comes from, your creativity, your passion, your zest for life. Moral of the story is, please be careful who you get yourself involved with. Please be careful who you make friends with, who you sleep with. Always wear some kind of protection sigil or symbol. And before you go to bed, please have a prayer mantra or pray that you are always protected, you are loved by the universe or God, and no evil eye, hoodoo, voodoo magic can touch you. If you would like to learn more about how to spiritually protect yourself from these astral parasites and why there is so much spiritual warfare here on Earth, my book, Made in God's Image, will tell you everything you need to know. A lot of spiritual people will not say what I say in my book because they're scared to scare you, but I think keeping the masses ignorant is a very bad move. And I hope you will learn necessary truths through my teachings. Also, if you're curious about the amazing priest that I went to and you live in New York, I will write his information down in the description.
What a story. Shout outs to Key.Guidance. Sound like something from the Matrix / Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street. Man, I only can imagine what her boyfriend was doing. Like, I'm sure he was freaking out for real. But yeah, it sounded like it was a strong entity. The Hindu priest couldn't close the jaw. Yo, it sounded like a straight movie. But I feel her. Respect, I'm happy she got it out of her.
Lobtards will argue until the end that we are living in a spinning ball from east to west. But how many miles per hour does plane travel? That's 550 miles per hour. So if Earth is moving 1,000 miles per hour, and let's say you are traveling to Miami, if you are flying east and moving 1,000 miles per hour, and my plane going 550 miles per hour, people are not going to get there on their destination, which is Miami. Imagine flying and chasing Miami. And also they say it is orbiting the sun at 65,000 miles per hour, and add the Earth's 1,000 miles per hour. Fastest than a sport car, don't you think? What they show you, all these public space offices, it's all opposite on how God created Earth. It is totally the opposite. Because if you believe Earth is spinning like a ball, then you don't believe God at all. Earth is not moving, but only sun, moon, and stars. It's so absurd that you go to church, go to mosque, pray to God, and believe the opposite. Because that's what scientists told you too. You won't believe it for now because the indoctrination they feed on you at school since grade 1, memorizing the 7 planets, the colors of it, that sun is a firing ball, Earth is globe, and it rotates, and so on. Even if you argue below, you will never change the fact that Earth is flat inside an ostrich egg shaped that produce electromagnetism folds, and it's not gravity. This is the simplest experiment that you can understand. The object in the middle levitates using an electromagnetic force. Then smoke is added to show a firmament bubble. The smokes represents the gas in our atmosphere, all contained in a vacuum. It's the same of our Earth physical realm.
And that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed tonight's rabbit hole. If you haven't already, please take a second
just to smash that like, subscribe, ring that notification bell.
Just to make sure the algorithm knows what's up. So what we gonna do, y'all? That's right. Run these numbers up. Thanks again. Until next time.